We are live. Guys, thank you. Join me for another episode of Coin Ring Talk, the second one. And I'm here with Bill Bottoms. Before we start, Bill, I have 3 questions for you. All right. Now, you contacted me this week with some important news, which I deem to be important. When something's new on the table or something's new in the oven cooking, I want to know about it. So, Bill, first question. What have you been doing for yourself since the last time we talked? Huh? All right, before you answer that, the second question is this. I heard something's new on the table. It looks like a kind of new type of creation. What have you done with that? How did you make it? And what you're willing to share with us, how much it costs, and when I'm getting mine. The third question is this. I heard that you have something special coming up in the sun in July. And this July gift is going to bring another gift, another thing on top of retirement. So, Bill, I want these 3 things answered in this interview right here. All right, guys, we are talking to my friend Bill Bottoms. He is a fellow coin ring creator extraordinaire, but he also does a whole bunch of things that we'll be talking about right now. And so, introducing to those who don't know and those who do know about his channel, this is Bill Bottoms. All right, Bill, we're going to go right into it. Number 1 question, man. What have you been doing?
I just been doing the same old thing, making coin rings, making pins, selling everything at my farmer's market. Okay. I don't do the stuff like y'all do, or like you do, the eBay or Etsy or any of that. I just sell straight at my farmer's market, and I concentrate mainly on clad coin rings because I have to take into consideration the economics of my community and where I sell them. Right. So I keep everything real cheap on the, real affordable.
Okay. And where are you located at, Bill?
Oh, I live in Golden Valley, Arizona, but the farmer's market that I sell in is in Kingman, Arizona. Okay. It's about 15 miles up the road.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, we've been doing this for, I don't know, 5-6 years, something like that.
Okay. So I'm gonna show a couple pictures of him being in this area, guys. Last year, me and Bill did an interview together, and we talked about the things that he has on his tables. Beautiful handcrafted work. His rings are awesome. And he's been doing this, like you said, for 6 years, adding this to the community out in Arizona, which I definitely love your work. So when he shared with me that he has something new on the horizon, I definitely wanted him to come on to the platform and actually share. So tell me this, Bill. How long have you been doing coin rings? Because that's our connection here. So how long have you been doing those?
I think I've been doing them for about at least 3 years, maybe 4.
Okay. And that's not bad. So doing the clad rings, and I think you told me some time ago as well, you do a whole bunch of them in order to get the table. So you told me you do like maybe 100. Is that the right number?
I think my normal box of my normal clads, I think I usually keep 100 or a little more in there.
Okay.
But yeah, I usually try to keep. I go from. I got a few 5s and 6s is main. If the 5s, sometimes the 5s mess up when you're trying to make them that small. Mm-hmm. And those are quarters, made from quarters, but they'll start to delaminate when you try to make them that small, squeeze them down. So I usually have a few 5s, and I go up to, in the quarters, I try to go up to 12s. Of course, getting them that big, you have a problem getting them small, real small plus real big. Mm-hmm. But I usually try to go with that variant just in the quarters.
Right.
And I'll have, a lot of times I'll have 10 of the same size. But I do it that way because I like to give a good presentation. Plus, when I go to make them, I make at least 10 at a time. So I don't just go out and make one. I'll make 10 at a time in an assembly line process. So it speeds everything up. And cost and everything. So that's the reason I keep so many on hand. You might say.
Now tell me this: clad quarters. We got to worry about the content of that quarter, and these are United States currency. So how do you coat them with something, or do you to protect the customer from skin irritation? What do you do?
On the inexpensive ones, I don't do anything. I simply tell the customer, hey, it's got copper in it and it's nickel. If you're allergic to nickel, you don't need to touch it. But even the outside coating on a clad is nickel and copper. So there is some copper in that silver coating. And a lot of people will turn their finger green.
Right.
And I'll tell them ahead of time. And most of them don't care.
Right.
Because my quarter ones, I only sell them for $5 a piece. They're happy.
Right.
And I tell them, I say, hey, take you some clear fingernail polish. If it turns your finger green, take you some clear fingernail polish and paint the inside, and that'll last for a month or so. But I do offer them some that I have powder coated that lasts for powder coating. What depends on how often you wear the ring. My wife can destroy the powder coating within 3 months
because of all the washing and cleaning and stuff like that.
She's just hard. She is hard on my ring.
Okay.
But the normal powder coating will last, depending on how, if you just very rarely wear the ring, it'll last 6 months to a year. But I do offer that, but they're a little more expensive because, the expense of powder coating.
So you do clear powder coating, or you also do color powder?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, powder coating as well.
Yeah, I do color and clear. Let's see. Here's the camera. Pick it up. There's a red one.
I love that.
And that's a Kennedy 50 cent.
Now, do you still see the detail with that coat? Oh man.
Yep.
So the process, I would love to. I still haven't tried the process of making the powder coating, and I told myself I was going to do it, but I have not. But I love the idea.
It's a great idea, and it has its uses, but they did not, believe it or not, they did not sell like I thought they would. Of course, it's a variance in price. I mean, that one I showed you there, that's $20.
Okay.
And maybe I got them priced too high, but they didn't sell as good as I kind of anticipated them. Or maybe I was overshooting the moon or something, but they didn't sell quite as good as I expected them to. But they do sell.
Okay. So,
but the powder coating itself is back to your previous statement. The powder coating I use is the transparent powder coating, so it turns translucent. You can see through it.
Okay.
It's not a flat color.
Okay.
So you can see through it, even though it's got a red tint or a purple tint or whatever. So you can still pick up all the detail.
Okay.
See it very clearly.
Your process do you use the brush with the electric charge at the end of it? Okay. Do you have a device or something that you actually made?
I use just a normal powder coating machine you buy from Harbor Freight for a little nothing. And then I made there's a YouTube video on how to take the old style shaving brushes.
Right.
Okay. And you put a wire through it, spread out the little wires, and you can just dip that in the powder.
Right.
And have it all hooked up, and then you just put it close to it and tap it, and the stuff just sucks right over to it. And
then once you do that, then you put it into the oven to cure, correct?
Yeah. Just a little toaster oven. And I already had that. See, that's a lot of times I'll already have the machine or part of the stuff it takes to do a lot of these processes.
Okay.
Because I used to do stabilized wood.
Okay.
So I already had a nice toaster oven out in the garage just for that, because you don't really want to do that in the kitchen.
Right.
Or in the
stuff be all over the place.
Well, it's not so much that. I mean, once you get it on there, if you're gentle with it, it'll stay there till you can get it in the oven. But you just don't want to be cooking and have the fumes and whatnot in your oven where you cook food.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. I'm definitely. You have a video on your channel that showing that process?
I don't have any ring videos.
Right.
Okay. I just never. I never thought they were necessary because there was always, I mean, I don't do anything any different than the ones that are, there's already a bunch of videos out there on powder coating rings, and I didn't do anything different from them. So I never, put one out there.
Right. And just a reminder, like I said, some time ago, me and Bill did a video together, and it was talking about stop and get prepared now. So if you look on the channel, you'll find that video, and we talked about getting prepared for a ban that was happening. So these are the things that he talked about on his channel. And you'll look at that thumbnail, and that's the video that you want to go see. So yeah, that's definitely something I want to learn on the terms of the powder coating, because I did buy the brush. I just didn't get the part from Harbor Freight, but I did get the black paint because I wanted to try some things that Skip from Jtcoinrings, he was showing how to do it with WD-40, an easy way to coat. And I wanted to try that technique and stuff like that. So that's cool. So knowing that this is what we have in common with the coin rings, it's definitely what I wanted to touch bases with. As I showed to the audience, is your table, which I think is wonderful. I always wanted to do it outside of the event. And how long does it take you to prepare for everything? Just letting the people know. How long does it take you to get everything ready for your shows? And how do you price budget? Like thinking in terms of saying, okay, this is our spread for the next couple of days. This is the budget that we want to, this is the target we want to hit with this spread. How do you do all that?
Well, since we're at a farmer's market, it's a weekly farmer's market, but it's one day, and it's kind of limited on hours. Of course, out here in the desert, the temperature limits you because as soon as it hits 100 degrees, the customers just scatter. They're gone.
Okay.
So but kind of more to your point, there's a lot of venues I don't go to because they charge too much.
Table wise, right?
For a booth, for a space. They just charge too much. And since I'm not just a reseller, now if all I did was buy stuff from China and resell it,
right?
Okay, if they charge $100, okay, I could probably sell $100 worth of stuff, and break even. But so not really big deal. But when you've worked all week yourself with your own hands and you've created these things,
right?
You don't want to spend a week's worth of work just to pay the booth space.
True.
So I don't go to any venues that charge. I mean, I don't even care if let's say I sold, $200 worth. Okay, I made $100 profit, but that was, 2 weeks worth of work, for that $100. That don't add up in my mind.
True.
So the venue we're at now, the venue you showed in that picture, actually the spaces were free.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah. We have like dueling flea markets in our town that kind of compete with each other, you might say.
Okay.
And, but I'm not at that one now. I'm down. We changed venues this year, went to a different one a little further down. But the spaces there are only $10 a piece. Wow. And we actually expanded, and now we have 2 spaces because I give my wife a whole space for her ceramics, so she could set up quite a bit more of them.
Right. And if you look at the video, you'll see one of the last part of that slide was the ceramics, if I'm not mistaken. And also with your pens that you do yourself, the woodwork, correct? Which I think is amazing. And also the what you call them, the wooden knobs, the mason jar lids. Right. So I remember you talking about that last time. So guys, you can talk about that next video that we did. We talked about his process of making those and the different sizes and stuff, the different types of woods and the treatment. Definitely awesome. So what I wanted to discuss now was the new addition, the new ring, this beautiful thing here with the color and everything. This is what you sent me this week, and I said, let's come on and discuss this. It looks great on your finger. a nice shiny and nice copper look. How did you get this done?
Well, to be honest, this is the only ring I have made kind of totally myself. In other words, I didn't get this off of YouTube. You know, all the rest of these coin rings, I learned how to make them by watching YouTube videos. You know, I mean, you probably did the same thing.
Same thing.
This one was a happy accident. I mean, a blind squirrel does find a nut every now and then. Because what I have, I was making some quarter rings, quarters, and I had a lady, because I make these like this that are just bands. Okay, just a band, and it's nickel plated, and it's a copper core with nickel plate. Because I like to make stuff. I like to try to make stuff from nothing, you might say. So the copper core in this is a piece of water pipe.
Oh, wow.
Just household water pipe. Okay.
Wow. I thought you took a coin and shaved it down and you went straight to, okay. All right. Very inexpensive way to make some jewels. So that one pipe, how many rings can you make from that?
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Just this little piece of scrap. And this was scrap that I had laying in the garage. Well, there's 10 more rings than just that little piece right there.
And how much something like that would cost?
These, if I'm going to sell them, I hadn't.
No, not the ring. The actual pipe first. How much?
You know, I don't really know. I hadn't bought any in so long. I hadn't bought any since I built my house.
Okay.
And I think it's fairly high, but you can buy, you can buy a 1-2 foot section of it. You don't have to buy the 10 foot pieces. But I don't know, but you get it at Home Depot.
Right.
But anyhow, how I come up with the ring, the copper ring, call it, I even call it a tiger stripe ring.
That's what it looks like to me, like a tiger's eye type of thing.
Anyhow, I had a lady that requested some smaller ones of these. Okay. So I was making a little batch of small and medium sized ones.
Right.
And the nickel plating didn't turn out as good as I wanted it to once I got finished with them. The problem with it, and the problem you run into when you try to make this, like anytime you plate something, you got to have a mirror finish on your base material. I mean, it has to be a polished mirror finish, because once you put the plating on there, it brings out any little defect.
Okay.
It just magnifies it. So anyhow, that was my problem. I didn't finish the copper part core good enough, and I put the plating on and I wasn't happy with how it looked. So I said, okay, we'll redo them.
Right.
So I was sanding the nickel plating off. And while I was sanding it on these other rings, I noticed, because it's not perfectly, a perfect sphere or a circle. It's not perfect. Right. So while you're wet sanding it with sandpaper, and it would go through the nickel plating in places before it would other places. See, so it would expose the copper.
Right.
And while I was doing that, I noticed it. While I was just trying to get a mirror finish so I could replate them and they'd be, the solid silver color. But anyhow, I noticed this copper kind of showing through, and I kept looking, I kept sanding, and looking at it. And I said, well, I think that would be really neat if I just polished that, stopped right there, polished that surface, and then maybe clear powder coated it just because of the exposed copper, because it would patina. If you leave it exposed to the air, it would patina. So that's how I came up with it. I said, well, I didn't do the ones I were doing because I was wanting them to be the total nickel plated silver.
Right.
So the next day, I made one for myself.
Okay.
Just to play with the steps and the procedure. Right. You nailed it down a little better.
It looks like a pretty sturdy ring. And when you coated it, just to make sure, are you using the same technique you coated the other rings with, the translucent
Yeah.
Power coating. Okay, got you.
Yeah, on this one I just used clear instead of a color.
Okay, got you.
Color. Now I tell you what you have to do though. Anytime you're dealing with clad rings are copper, not now the silver ones like this one that's been plated in 100% pure silver. I mean pure nickel. Okay, you don't have to worry about them. You can put them in the oven, heat them to 400, 450 degrees, no problem, and they're just as silver as when you first started.
Okay.
But a clad ring that has some copper in that coating, that outside clad, silver clad, or say, for instance, this ring, which got exposed copper. Once that heats up to certain temperatures, it turns certain colors. Okay, so you have to, if you want to keep your pure copper, you want to keep it around 350 degrees when you're cooking your clear. Okay, or you can, in which I have several rings. What I did was before I put the clear on them, I put them, when I got finished with the ring, I put it back in them. It was clad 50-cent piece. I put it back in the oven, heated it up. I watched my temperature real close and just slowly heated it, and it'll turn gold. It'll turn a darker gold, a bronze, and then it'll just go through a whole myriad of different shades color. And depending on where you stop temperature, that's the patina you get. And then put the clear coat over that. See.
Now,
so I was real careful on this because I wanted to keep the pure copper look, but I could have heated it a little more, and the copper would have started turning a more of a gold color. And or a darker, really dark bronze type color. And then just whatever color you want, you just play with the temperature.
All right. So thanks for explaining that process. Now I'm missing one in my process. Give me the 3 things needed to make this ring.
To make this ring here,
down to the cutting of that pipe and everything. What are you using?
Well, you just need a piece of this. Of course, if it's a bigger ring, start off with 3/4 inch copper pipe. Okay. You'll need a pipe cutter. I don't recommend doing it with a hacksaw. You need a real tubing cutter, and most people have those. If not, they're really inexpensive.
That's been right.
And you cut that off, and you want to take that creates a lip on the inside because it kind of goes like that. And so you want to either sand that or cut it with a ridge, one of those little tools. I don't know if you use one or not.
I haven't, but a deburring tool.
Deburring tool, that's it.
Sorry, yeah.
Deburr it, and then sand it to, just a polished finish, and that takes a while because you have to go just a step at a time on your sandpaper. And this one I usually go up to 3,000 grit.
Okay.
This is the last grit. I start at like 220, slowly work up through the grits to 3,000. To get the mirror finish. But then you do have to have the whole system, the whole setup to do the nickel plating, which might be a little much for some people if they're,
I have a silver and gold plating. I got from the Becker system.
Yeah, see, that setup would work fine. You just need the solution with the dissolved nickel in. If you want to do nickel, you just need the solution that has the nickel in it instead of gold or silver.
Right. So I bought this some time ago, and for some 90% or 40% rings that I've done this year, I coated it with the silver just to give it a little extra, because after all the cleaning inside of the coin, you start seeing the copper come through. So I said, let me go ahead and coat it while it worked like magic, because I had this system from the Becker system for about 1 year and never touched it. And I thought when I was doing my heart pendants, it would be a good idea to coat it and then shine it, and made it look much better. So back to the ring. How much are you charging for the type of ring?
I don't know yet. This is the first one.
This is new.
Yeah. And I think it would sell because it is unique and it's very. I think it's pretty.
It is. It really is.
But I think it would sell. If I was going to sell them, they'd probably go for somewhere between 20 and 30.
Okay. And you size this with the same coin ring methods, correct?
Oh yes. It was that, and actually, if you notice this one, it's got kind of a little bit of a fat tire look.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
on both sides.
Did all that exactly the same as you would a coin ring.
Okay.
Everything is the same. You anneal it, but one of the problems you will run into with the water pipe, it's a little thin, and once you anneal it, it gets really soft and it's really easy to collapse the ring. So you have to be a little careful. Don't anneal it too much because it's all copper, so you can really work it a lot before. But you want to, if you do need to really move it, so you have to anneal it. Then what you want to do is really work it, and get some hardness back into it. Okay. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Get that work hardness back into it. You really need to work it, expand it, shrink it, work it to get the hardness to come back
into right.
So yeah, by the time you get your finished ring. But otherwise, I made it exactly like you would a coin ring.
All right. Yeah. Definitely love it, and I definitely wanted to share that because when I saw it, I was like, I love it because I love tiger eyes, one of my favorite. So when I see the waves and stuff inside of it, I say, oh man, this is pretty nice. You got to talk about the process.
And it's amazing because I just stumbled across it. I mean, I had not seen anything like that on YouTube. I didn't get it from YouTube. Right. I just simply stumbled across it while in the process of fixing some other rings, and I said, well, this looks kind of neat. I think I'll explore this,
right. Definitely pretty cool. Guys, we're going to do a quick run of one of the people that I love. This kind of not sponsor this channel, but definitely gave me an affiliate link. It's from Sound Money Metals. This device here I use to check my silver and gold coins. And also I use it with an app that kind of catches the pitch. So some of you may have got this already, but if you haven't, the link will be in the description below. Sound Money's Metals. Check out Sound Money Metals. The link will be in the description below. You can check your stack. You get any coins, any silver, any gold coins. You want to use this device because it will make sure that you have 90% silver, 0.999 fine silver, or gold. It's definitely cheap, maybe $30. You can put it in your pocket when you go to the coin store, or you're getting coins from online or even in person. You can check it right then and there. It will help you and save you a couple dollars. So that's Sound Money Metals. Bill, now we're going to the next thing that you shared. I want to call these delicious looking items the Bill Bottom Buns. The Bill Bottom Buns. I mean, I think that's the perfect name with your last name being Bottoms and this being the Bill Bottom Buns, guys. This is the new thing that he added to his arsenal at the farmer's market. When you at a farmer's market, you want your table to have so many things, but one thing that I know that drive people to a table is food. So, Bill, how did you come up with this, and how has it been doing since you introduced it to your table?
Well, I started actually baking 20 years ago, I guess, and really studied the science because I always did yeast. I did yeast breads and whatnot. Never did sourdough. I do just regular yeast breads, and really studied the science and learned how all that stuff worked. And turned out I had a kind of a knack for it, you might say. And I could see if you pay attention, and you're looking around at your market. It doesn't matter if it's a farmer's market or whatever. Look at where the people are. Look at what's selling, And I noticed that basically it's any food item, but it's the instant gratification. That's what's selling. Okay.
That's right.
So I knew I could do these, and so I refined the recipe even a little better, even though me and my wife don't eat them because we're keto,
Okay.
so we can't have sugar or flour. But, I mean, back before we were keto, I used to make them,
Right.
and everybody, they were good. So, we just started making them, and they've turned out to be a really good success.
Now, what I found out when we talked prior, that audience, that Bill has the actual video of him making it on your channel, correct?
Yes.
And
Yep.
so he says like a 40-minute, or I think an hour. You said of
hour and a half.
Hour and a half of
It's
him making it.
Yep.
That's good. Sometimes people need to sit down and watch a process. You can't cut it up always. I mean, we can make it, you can edit it and everything, but it's good to see it from the beginning to the end. So guys, if you want to see that process of him making these buns here, the Bill Bottom Buns, please check out his channel, because they look tasty, and especially for me, not eating right now, they look like something I can bite into right away. So the process is on your channel. It's added to your arsenal of you selling. This next part of the show I call the lightning round, because I wanted to talk about another facet that's adding to your the things that you do. And if we know, based on our conversation, something special is coming up. So these will be talked about on the lightning round. All right. Once again, I have not found the lightning button, so the applause will have to do. All right, Bill, let's get down to business. All right, you told me something special is happening in July, which is your birthday. I'm asking you 5 random questions, anything to pop in my head about these things about to happen. First of all, what are you going to do on your birthday, and what are you willing to share? The naughty stuff, keep to yourself or your channel, but tell me what you're willing to do on this special day.
Well, I'm so old. Birthdays just come and go anymore. We really don't do anything special. Of course, we, like I say, we're on the keto diet, so it's birthday cake's out.
Wow.
Unless I make a special cake, we can eat, and I'd have to make it because my wife don't know how. I just don't do any. We really don't do anything. We're once you've had a jillion birthdays, it's just not that big a deal anymore.
You're around her acting like you've been around the prehistoric days, Bill. You're not that old, man. You're not that old, but I understand. So you definitely gonna keep it simple. All right. So coming this age, you are talking about the keto diet, and it looks like you look good. You look like you have a lot of energy. You're vibrant. How have this diet changed your life?
Just phenomenally. For me personally, because we did it mainly for my wife. The benefits I have seen was weight loss. I was able to cut my blood pressure medication in half. Lost quite a bit of weight, and all of my arthritis that I used to have in my knees and my hips left. And I don't mean just got better, I mean left.
Wow.
And now for my wife, that was the big deal, because that was the reason we did it. Her A1C level was 11.9. And when she got it checked, and her doctor freaked out, wanted to put her on insulin injections and all that kind of stuff for type 2 diabetes, she says, no, I'm not doing that. And she told me, she said, see if you can find something that might help with this. So I did a lot of research. I said, okay, here's what we need to do. And we started a keto diet. And after we've been on it for a little while, we combined it with intermittent fasting, where we only, we have a snack at like 3:00 in the afternoon, and then we eat dinner at night, 6 or 7 o'clock. Then we don't consume any carbs or any calories until the next day at the 3 o'clock. Anyhow, after 2 years of doing is her A1C is now 4.8. The doctor had to take the type 2 diabetes off her chart. Said, you are no longer a diabetic, And now there are people out there that'll argue that. They'll say, oh, it's incurable. And they want you to think that way, so you keep taking their medication.
Medication, that's right.
But it is actually curable, okay? Because to me, if like right now, if she went to a new doctor, okay, and had just a physical checkup and blood work done, all right, and she didn't put anything, they couldn't access her medical history. She was just like a Jane Doe walking in off the street, get the weight, height and all that, get all the normal measurements they could get, and then do their blood test, do their normal blood test, give her a normal checkup. They would not suspect or be able to say that she was ever a type 2 diabetic. Well, if you can cure yourself to that point,
right,
then you're cured. I don't care what people say.
Got to make a point. Reading and understanding that sugar causes inflammation in the body, because you talked about your knees. So that's what that is, inflammation in the body, wherever that's set. So keto, I'm hearing, is great for that. And also you added something extra that I love, which is the fasting. So that's why I let that one ride, because first of all, knowing that your birthday is coming up in July, knowing number two, that you start to care more about your diet, this 2-year journey, which has helped me, not just yourself, but your wife. The third thing, what you do for physical activity. Because the thing is, I want to focus on birthday, your diet change, the losing of the weight. What's the physical activity to keep that going?
Well, once I lost all the weight, I had a lot of loose skin. I mean, everywhere. My elbows mainly, and my legs, and all, a lot of loose skin. So what I did was, when the weather's good out here, and I feel like it, I have some weight equipment on on my side porch, and I go out and I work out with weights. And try to get some muscle mass, because I never was one that cared about what the scales say. I cared about how I looked in the mirror, how my clothes fit. That was what I cared about. I didn't care what the scales said. So if I can get a little bit more muscle back, then that'll help with the loose skin a little bit, and plus it'll help. Your body will eat the loose skin eventually.
True.
And so that's about the only thing I do is I do work out with some weights. I have a couple of machines, the machines you buy that do the weights.
Right. Well, I've been on my journey as well. I changed my diet, and also been working out. Lost 17 pounds thus far, and I'm feeling 100% better. I got a long way to go, but the process of me making that mental change, I'll be 49 this year. And just this June. So I'm happy. I'm still young, still vibrant. I'm still out there working, but I had to make that change. So I applaud you on that effort as well. Now, for the fourth question, because birthday is coming up, you focused on your diet, you focused on your physical. Now, I always applaud you from the last interview we had on your fiscal responsibility. So what's coming up as well with this birthday that's coming this year in July?
Well, hopefully right after my birthday, it'll be the 1st of August, and I'll get my first Social Security check. Hopefully.
Now, this is what's old to you, but the thing I like to hear is the next question that will come, but we're going to let you cook on this Social Security check, because what you've done, and the reason why I put you on for the second time, is that you have, before this even happened, after the retirement, even you said, I'm going to build another stream of income. I've got my channel. I have my hobbies that I have created. And you also created this constant revenue builder with the farmers market. So you already prepared for retirement, and you definitely living a good life based off keeping your health and your mental good. So with this Social Security check that's coming this July, what are you planning to do?
Really nothing.
No trips, no trip to Hawaii.
No. I've done been. That's part of my. I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing, but I've basically done everything I ever wanted to do.
Okay.
And I don't have any desire to go travel. I've traveled a bunch. I've never went out of the country, and I have no desire to do that.
Okay.
Especially in this day and time, and so we're just going to take it easy, relax, because it's nice to just relax and enjoy life, and that's all we're going to. That's what I'm going to do anyhow, or try to do.
But you know what? That's admirable, and I look at that as being top tier. The last question of this this list is going to be: we talked about the age, we talked about the diet, we talked about the physical activity, we talked about the new stream that's coming in as well. Let's talk about exactly why you can relax right now. You're taking care of some major things in your life. You don't have to be so specific, but just talk about getting to this stage, what we should do in order to live our best life in the retirement years.
Well, the reason I can basically do what I do as far as relaxing and all, and just doing my hobbies and making some money, is I have no bills. I have everything paid off, and I would urge people to do that as soon as possible and not incur further bills. In other words, when you get your house paid off, if it's a nice house, keep the house. Don't say, okay, the market's up, let's sell it and go buy another house, and get another 30-year mortgage.
Right.
Now you can do that if you want to, but for me, it's just like now. I actually retired a year or two ago, and was just, living off the money I had piled up in the bank until I started getting my Social Security. And the reason I was able to do that is because I don't have a mortgage. My house is completely paid for. I don't have any car payments, and we got 4 vehicles out here, or 5 now. What is it? Now 4 vehicles. Yeah, they're all paid for, but the minute I paid them off, I didn't run out and buy another one. Let's get some use out of this. And so the reason I'm able to live the lifestyle I live is because I paid everything off, and I only have normal electricity, water bill, garbage bill, that kind of stuff, to pay every month. So, that's, a lot of people are still, they're 70 years old. They're still working. They still have a mortgage.
Right. You've seen it a lot, Bill, and I'm telling you, that's why I want to stress this, because I like sharing when people share information like you have done with me and this audience, to show that it's possible. And it don't have to be an extravagant. You don't have to say, I'm gonna go travel here and I'm gonna live out of the country. No, you decided to do it here where you are, United States and Arizona, and you built it with discipline. I think you told me that you curd your own lunch every day, correct? Was you the one to tell me that? Maybe not. I think it had somebody else on. They're like, hey, I brought my lunch every day for 20 years. I'm like, golly, because I buy lunch every day. So
I've done that. I've done that. And then especially after we went on this, we got on this diet, I had to do it. If I wanted to take anything to eat,
right,
I had to take it myself, because you can't stop at the store and buy it.
Right.
So.
And that's true. I mean, so I just like the fact to share that, hey, this Bill Bottoms have done it with the coin rings. He's done it with also the other things you did, which we shared in the last video. He did it now with the Bill Bottom buns. And before we go, look at these things. So when you go in this table in Arizona, this next market, I want you to focus on these buns. He said he made 16. Let's get him to sell 20, 30, 40 to 50 Bill Bottom buns, so it can be out, add another stream of income to this phenomenal gentleman. Bill, thank you so much for even coming on today and answering these questions. You're always a pleasure, man. Guys, Bill Bottoms, tell them where they can find you.
My website is yourvapingdollar. Not .com, but on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
My channel on YouTube is Your Vaping Dollar, and I'm sure JT will put up a link. And
I'll put that definitely in the description below. Also, are you on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, none of those things? He says
I've
no.
got a Facebook account, but I don't do anything with it. It was just there so I could post pictures of the market, when we set up at the market, and tell people, my wife has a bunch of friends on Facebook that are in town.
Okay.
And just to tell them that we're there, so that's the only reason I have a Facebook deal. But I don't do any of the other stuff.
This is what me and Bill talked about prior to the interview, because the interview was supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes. He says, JT, I never done videos for that long. We do 40 minutes. We got 45 minutes of content right here, guys. This is what happens when men just sit down and talk casually. Bill said 45 minutes to an hour. That's what I do. So that's what we did today, guys. So follow Bill. His information will be in the description below. Follow me here at Jtcoinrings, where I talk coin rings and all things precious metals. Have some more great guests on, and we will see you next video.
Take pride in your stack and wear it. Johnson Toe is an American craftsman who could take your favorite coin design and create art that you'd be very proud to wear and something very special to share. Jtcoinrings, handcrafts, handmade jewelry, especially for you.